I started with Animal Services as a temp in August of 2012. So I've been here now for just a little bit short of 13 years. There is so much wildlife here, and they're constantly on the move. One thing that we're dealing with in the city of Austin and Travis County as a whole is, the issue of habitat encroachment with all the development going on, areas where wildlife were able to roam freely. And then all of a sudden someone's building, a big warehouse or condos or apartments or a housing development. They've got to find somewhere else to go. As wildlife officers, it's one of our primary issues that we deal with. As the warmer months start to make an appearance, there's typically a spike in activity with wildlife. In this situation, we were unable to make contact with the caller because we weren't able to confirm one way or the other or get any update on the situation. Those are calls that we have to respond to. Let's see what we've got. It's entirely possible that it might be deceased just because of the location, but again, we can't know for sure until we get there. So unfortunately, that is a deceased animal. Yeah, unfortunately, they all look dead. Yes, this is an unfortunate reality. These babies have been dead for a while. But I'm still gonna check mom to see if there's more in the pouch, because I've pulled babies out of possums like this before. So we always double check the pouch. No, nothing in the pouch. So yeah, unfortunately in this situation, all we can really do, put this in a bag so that it's not attracting other wildlife predators. Now that we've got it bagged up and it was unfortunately deceased, I will contact the dispatchers and let them know the address and where it is specifically, because that is something that Austin Resource Recovery is going to need to pick it up. And they typically will pick those up within about 24 to 48 hours. They usually pick them up sooner rather than later though. Okay, let's see where we're going. Next guy, already punched your coordinates in here. It's actually not going to be too far away, only 10 minutes, good. This one is a little different. This one is in an area that we typically find them in. Wildlife, they're looking for shelter. They're trying to get away from perceived threats like people, vehicles, that kind of thing. This one is in a doorway, a kind of sheltered doorway, an entryway. Is that a big enough blankie for you? I'm gonna pick it up and secure it in one of our wire cages. I'll put some bedding in there. Let's give you this one. The bedding also helps retain warmth, which is something important for anything that's sick or injured. Put this right over here. Hello, buddy. You sleeping? Sometimes, though, they don't like to be woken up. But you're kind of big, so I'm going to use a grabber. Oh. Hello. I don't think he's been hit by a car or anything. Nothing severe. Hi, buddy. You're coming with me. If it's a big animal like that, in you go. It might be grumpy if I try to pick it up. That's why we have these grabbers. Perfect tool for the job. All right, so next sequence will be to deliver this critter to Austin Wildlife Rescue. You look kind of skinny.
Is he okay?
He looks kind of skinny. It's just a little underweight. So it'll go to Austin Wildlife Rescue.
I'm so glad he's getting taken care of. But thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You safe, baby?
Yeah. Hungry. That's why he's right next to a bakery. Because Austin Wildlife Rescue does close at 4 p.m. every day. All right, buddy. After 4, if we pick up sick or injured wildlife that is not critical and needs basic treatment, we'll pick that animal up, we'll bring it to the shelter and put it in an isolated area. Cover you up a little bit, just so it's not so scary. And then ultimately, the next morning, an officer will deliver animals we have in that isolated room to Austin Wildlife Rescue. I'm putting the animal's ID number on here and then the activity number, 92697. This is something that typically the night officers will do for anything that goes to Austin Wildlife Rescue that has to stop here for whatever reason. Once they're closed, they can't take them anymore. Animals got to spend the night here. There we go. I felt like I was sort of obliged to contribute to the animal world in some way, shape, or form to sort of balance the scales, for lack of a better term. There we go. And I'm very glad that I did.